Hi, I'm Dr. Lee Roberts. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and a board-certified orthopedic clinical specialist. My practice is LAR Physical Therapy, located in Columbia, Maryland. I wanted to talk to you today about elbow pain. When you have pain on the inside of your elbow or the medial aspect, it's often referred to as golfer's elbow or pitcher's elbow. When it's on the lateral or outside of your elbow, it's often referred to as tennis elbow. While it's often named for these sports, it can also be caused from just any repetitive strain, injury, or repetitive activity that you might do. It starts off typically as a tendinitis, which indicates that there's inflammation in the area. It can be treated commonly with rest, ice, and compression. However, over time, it may become chronic, and there are changes in the tendon that don't respond to those modalities. At this point in time, you may need to seek medical advice. You will know it's chronic if it's lasted for longer than 3 months, if it no longer stays right in the elbow but starts to radiate up or down, and if it still persists even at rest. I'd like to show you some stretches that you can do early on in rehabilitation to help ward off these elbow pains. Start off with doing some wrist circles. Go about 10 times clockwise and 10 times counterclockwise. Straighten your elbow out, hold on to the back of your hand, and pull down. This is your wrist extensor stretch, so we're stretching the top of the forearm. Hold that for about 30 seconds, then release. Point your fingers up and then curl them under. Grasp with your opposite hand and pull back. Now you're stretching the bottom of your forearm. These are your wrist flexors. Hold for about 30 seconds and then release. So to review, warm up your wrists with some circles, wrist extension stretch, wrist flexor stretch. Hold for about 30 seconds, repeat 2 to 3 sets. These can be done as a warm-up before you start to participate in your sport or your repetitive activity. They can also be easily performed during the day. So sitting in the car, sitting at your desk, or any time throughout the day, they're very easy to perform. If you have any questions or would like more information, please look at my website, www.larpt.com.